So the beauty brings the predator. I'll try to make this one as simple and fast as possible.
Gotta go fast.
Today we don't have time for good evenings, mornings, and whatnot. There's just mornings and whatever. So the beauty brings the predator. It's a psychological horror. With a nice tragedy tag next to it. At first glance, it looks like those standard harem romances stories, you know, the ones like H-Mate, Staying with Ayuma, I think it is, types of stories, and I think even Monster Musume. With big-breasted ladies with big bottoms too, and this one, it looks like it at first glance at the beginning.
They're the same picture.
But it's not, I can assure you that. Well, to a certain extent it is, but not completely. So for this one we have 4 characters. All of them attend art school, and their relationships are extremely frustrating to follow. We have Evie. I guess she's the cheerleader type of girl. She's in a relationship with Donghae, who is in the middle of a creative crisis with his artwork. Dowa, who is a psychotic person, obsessed with her art, and she's willing to do anything for it in order to achieve the results that she wants. And also she has this fixation for bringing justice, which later it's explained. Taeho, who is a weirdo, and turns out he has these psychopathic desires and behaviors.
I mean, I guess I'm a pretty sick guy.
It's later explained that is antisocial personality disorder, but yeah, that's it, by his therapist. And at the beginning, they don't have much going on between each other, like separate ways, but their paths end up intertwining for all the wrong reasons. So we have 2 corrupt individuals and too soon to become corrupted. So why does this become frustrated, you might wonder? Yet very interesting, I would say. You know, it has its own pizzazz. Well, Donghae and Evie start having troubles in paradise. You know, Donghae starts being selfish and self-centered, and neglects the relationship for his art and to learn from Dowa, which, even though it's completely mental, or portrayed to be completely mental when it comes to her art and the things she does to achieve it, the work she does in order to achieve her masterpieces makes it worth it and beautiful in a way. Also, he has this certain trauma relating that.
And I was in a very dark place.
So yeah, that makes Evie jealous. Obviously, she's not very good at communicating either, same as him. And on top of it, Taeho starts to harass her because he kind of falls in love with her in a very weird way, particularly her neck. It's kind of weird because the story is full of twists. Like, she starts kind of liking Taeho in a way, but she knows she shouldn't get close to him because he's dangerous.
Stop it. Get some help.
And a big misunderstanding amongst all of them occurs.
Shit just got real.
And in the end, even though Evie wasn't the smartest lass or the most communicative one, she got, the short end of the stick in the story. Though I'm not going to tell anything beyond that because there's a really, really good twist at the end, and that I do not want to ruin for you. The only thing that I'm going to say is that Evie has a knack for attracting psychopaths and predators. So I guess now we have to get we got the chance to go more in depth in the story. I hope now that we get out of your way with the spoilers. So I'd notice it's quite obvious, and I kind of understand why too. Why people really like Taiho and Doa at the very beginning. It's because you don't know them. You don't know that Taiho it's actually legit a psychopath, and that Doa is actually, she seems to be this badass woman imparting justice left and right, and then it turns out at the end when she says, I'm not doing this for the victims, I'm doing this for my stupid art, is like, okay, we got it. And Taiho, it's kind of the same in a way, that at the beginning the people are extremely attracted to him, and I kind of get it, because they show you this like mysterious guy who doesn't talk, who's very, straightforward with his answers and all that stuff, and then you start seeing more in depth how he behaves, and he actually has these secret feelings that have been repressed because of therapy. And he suddenly met someone like Doa who has no limits. Well, she does have limits. She hides herself from her father, and but once unleashed, there's nothing to stop them both. And in the end, I think the true victims of the story, well, aside from Evie, if I don't want to ruin the thing, but yeah, aside from Evie, it's the two parents of both Evie's parents, because of at the end how they show her mom going through this psychotic breakdown of she crying because she lost her daughter to the hands of the man who was supposed to love her and protect her, or who said who loved her and protect her. And Doa's father, who he fought with her devils, a master and all these ideas. He implanted pretty much in her, and he thought that he did a good job, and it ended up being that no. He couldn't, save her heart, as he said in his last words, which is quite sad in both cases, in all those cases. In which I also realized that Doa and Taiho are portrayed to be kind of two sides of the same coin, but when you realize that, for example, Taiho is legit like a sadist, he has sadistic tendencies, he's a psychopath, and Doa is more like she's trying to vent all her anger from the trauma she suffered when she was a child, trying to avenge her mother and all these victims, even if she says she does, it's not her purpose, and that she's doing it for her art. And yes, I think that was just an excuse, because she could still do art without harming anyone, like she did with Evie when she painted her with being decapitated, or with the decapitated head. And they are portrayed to be kind of like the same thing, but when you realize, and I think that's interesting in Doa, because she thinks that Taiho, it's kind of the same, that he has kind of like the same aspirations as her, but what she doesn't realize is that Taiho can become one of the people that she hates the most, so he can become a rapist, a murderous person. He can become all of those things that she hates in the same way, and and obviously we know it's because she sees her master in him, but I think the master, it's the same, it's just he learned or found an excuse to justify his actions. I think the master was also a sadist, but he just who knew who to direct that anger towards, that sadistic impulses towards, like, if I harm criminals, that no one can say anything, right, kind of stuff. And also I think that if Doa, that's the theory that I have, if Doa, when she was a child and she was under her master's care, it didn't manage to harm in this men that she was supposed to harm, like he told her, like, that's your mission kind of stuff. If she didn't manage to kill him, harm him, and he overpower her, the criminal, managed to overpower her and cause damage to her, I think the master will have abandoned her because she was not, the right one. She was not ready. She was, I guess, disappointing for him. That's my theory, but I don't know. Maybe he will have come out, go out of his way and defend her. Who knows? Well, we don't know. And the other thing is related more to Dong-hae and his character. I will just say it straight off out of the back. I fucking hate Dong-hae. I think he's a selfish cunt. There's no other words to describe his character. There was moments where I thought he had like a good point, trying to focus in his words and his work and all that stuff, but he started becoming like Doa in a way. Maybe not in the in the end he ended up kind of doing like what Doa was doing, harming people for the sake of his art. And he started reacting, and the indoctrination that Doa kind of did with him, that I don't know, but yeah, did with him kind of with, because you realize that he starts becoming like Doa in the sense of reacting like her. So when he didn't got what he wanted, when he got triggered by something, when Evie starts inquiring about his stuff and all that stuff, he starts reacting like her, being extremely violent, being harmful, being hurtful with his words, even fucking slapping Evie across the face, which I think was extremely awful. And at the beginning, when they came back together, I was like, Evie, you fucking stupid idiot, why are you going back with him? But I don't blame her, because I realized she was in an extremely vulnerable position where she didn't know what she wanted. She was being extremely self-harmful towards herself, being harmful with herself, and she didn't know what she was doing, and she was trying to look for a comfort place to be herself, or to find herself, I don't know. And she went back to him because that's the only thing she knew so far. When you realize that her only pretty much her best friend was him, all her life revolved towards him, her first time in everything, falling in love, doing all those naughty stuff too, was with him. Like, he was her comfort zone, so it was normal for her to go back to him in a way. Not the smartest decision, but it was normal in a way. And then also relating to this character, I realized, that's what I think. I'm just a psychologist, armchair, whatever. I don't remember how you said it, how the expression goes, but yeah. Evie's character, I realized that's what I think, is very depends a lot on approval of the people around her, and also because from what it seems, she's always been the type of person who has support, who has people who support her. So when she starts facing this backlash of people who are either not supporting her or not giving her approval, for example, with her dildo stuff with Taeho, when he says like, are you coming here to art school to use raw dicks, pretty much, and she, obviously it's offensive, but at the same time it's kind of expected, because all of her classmates, when she presents her shows, he does a presentation about her work, all of them remain silent, but they're like, the fuck? you're drawing dicks, pretty much, but no one says anything, and she even gets approval, or really positive positive review from Doa, who is considered to be like top notch in her top notch in her department. But yeah, when she starts facing like this backlash from Taeho, she's like, why are you saying that? And she and who is someone who also is portrayed to be top notch in his field, who, because of the landscapes that he draws. and she does not find, this approval from him. So I think, and also she starts, falling a little bit for this mysterious guy aura he has, and that's one of my ideas. And the other time is when she starts losing, the support, the approval from Jung Hae, especially when it comes to her kinks and her desires, and he starts to, kind of like kink shame her, or trying to like push that aside, like no, you don't really want that. My phone died in the middle of recording, but yeah. So yes, he's pretty much like, you don't want that, you don't need that, it's not enough with just me. Obviously, he has like a good reason behind it, of not, choking her, because, all his death trauma and all that stuff. But I think that's when the lack of communication, you start realizing that starts kicking in, because he's not straightforward with her either. He just starts, being dismissive, like no, you know what, that, or not being straightforward, with the things he's doing. Like, for example, when he starts, working with Doa, he's not straightforward at all. And if you realize, all these things, the way he's acting, behaving, pretty much how they always portray the cheating trope in movies, in all media. Like, he canceling dates. Suddenly he's saying he's going to work with this female co-worker, but you don't know if it's true or not, kind of stuff. And he never specifies to what he's doing, and then on top of it he comes and suddenly with his face all bruised from the punches and the slaps she gave him. So it's just like, what do you think, what idea did you expect her to, form in her head? And also, I fucking hate him too, because of the way he treats her. For example, he's so selfish because of it too, because after what happens with Taeho, when we end up realizing that yes, he is indeed a psychopath, he says his desires out loud for the public, well, for Evie to listen, like, I love you, but I love you in the sense that I want to harm you, because I don't know, his reasons. And he doesn't even, when he says you look awful, and he doesn't even ask her, like, why does she look like this, like, what happened, are you crying because of what I'm doing? I don't know, he never asks her, and she just continues to being dismissive with her. It's so frustrating with him. And I do agree that Evie wasn't the greatest at communication. He let that thing boil up for too long, boiling for too long, building up for too long, and when she was just at her limit, she decides to start inquiring, asking the questions, being direct with him, and it's just too late, because he's already, bananas. He already is completely mental, and she's already in a very vulnerable position too, where she doesn't know what she wants. Obviously, she does also a very, very bad stuff, like, trying to get back at him by sleeping with all these guys and trying to justify it because it's her artwork. The whole artwork thing, and throughout the whole series, I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say cringe, but it's kind of cringe. It feels so natural to me. This is one of the few things that I do can justify and have, I guess, an opinion, because I studied fine arts. So I do agree that the portrayal of obsession is kind of real in a way, because artists, I don't consider myself an artist, but the ones that I know are quite obsessive. Is that because it's the art pushes you towards that kind of thing. In school too, it's like you have to focus on the stuff, you have to keep pushing for that, you have to focus on one subject, so it kind of pushes you towards that. So it's kind of real in that sense. But most of the dialogue, like Do was saying, it's for my art, I'm going to create a revolution, oh, I'm so quirky and edgy and all that stuff. I find it a little bit, kind of cringy, kind of, I just don't like it kind of that much. But the rest of the story is extremely nice, I really, really like it. But yeah, going back to Evie, getting back at Dong Hai, yeah, I think, the way she gets back, well, she tries to, I'm justifying her at this point, but yeah, she tries to, when she breaks up I guess to fulfill her desires, her sexual desires. She feels so empty, and I feel she's just using it, well, to get back at him, and as a way of self harm too. So it's just sad. It's just sad. At the end, the second time I read it, because I had to do it for this video. At the beginning, I really didn't like Evie that much, and I didn't kill for Dowa either. Like, I love her, I'm in love with her, because many people did fell in love with her. But it was okay for me, Dowa. But reading it a second time, it was like I ended up disliking Dowa more and feeling more sad and pity, you know, pretty poignant towards Sivi. It's just sad how her ending is extremely sad. Obviously, there's a tragedy tag, so don't expect much from it. But and also because she tries, but also because she tries to do that the first time with Taeho, because she thinks Donghai is cheating her with Dowa. So I think that's why she starts approaching Taeho, because she tries to get back at him, you know, making Donghai jealous with Taeho, but she realizes not the greatest move. And I don't blame her for fantasizing about Taeho either. I think that's quite normal in couples that are lacking something in their relationship, whether it's related to sexual desires, their kinks, or communication, affection, or all that stuff. It's quite normal. You see it all the time in media and in real life, that they start, you know, fantasizing about things that will fulfill or those needs that they have, that their partner is either not paying attention, they are being dismissive, or they just do not want to fulfill, or do not want to pay attention to it, or because of lack of communication. So I understand why she starts doing that, but she doesn't realize in which trench hole she's getting herself into, because Taeho ends up being a very extremely dangerous individual. The other thing is that one of the things, if this wasn't a tragedy, you know, story, that I think the Taeho Evie, you know, ship will have ended up being very, very cute, you know. I don't know why. I think he has, you know, his good points at some point. His strong points relating to his love towards Evie. Not in the greatest way, in the obsessive manner, but maybe it will end up being nice in a potential doujinshi, whatever. But yeah, that's my I guess ideas. I don't know if you shared them. If you read it, I would like to know if you, I don't know, agree with me, disagree, I don't know. Fuck Donghai for being a cunt. He fucking twat. I hate him. I heard she ends up becoming crazy after her father's death, so I hope she ends up receiving the help she needs. I'm saying it like I know them, but but yeah, if there's any chance that this gets a second season or a side story. So I think I'm going to leave it here, because I said it was going to be a quick one, but it ended up being almost 20 minutes of me having to edit this. So I guess Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Snowbingården to all of you. Hope you enjoyed your holidays and all that nice stuff. And yes, see you in the next video. Hope you enjoy this little format. I try to make editing easier for myself. It didn't end up being like that. So I want to produce the videos, but I do not want to get bored of producing them, because I have to edit them and it just takes too long and I have other things to do. So I'm going to leave this as kind of like a podcast kind of type of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this format too. And I guess that's it from my side. So yes, happy holidays if you are still in holidays. If not, happy going back to work. And I guess bye.